So we're gonna come up to you. Ready?
Yeah, we are. Yeah.
Here we go.
Oh, hello. I'm sorry. I was just on my phone trying to find something to entertain myself with. When I realized that we've gone live here at Very Dad Ideas, that means it's Tuesday. That means it's 9:30. That means me, Emperor Palpatine, and Optimus Prime have got a show cooked up for you, along with my cohort, Nye Warburton. Nye Warburton coming at you from Long Beach, California, and me, I'm coming at you from Northern California, up in, say, Alameda-ish. Tonight, the show we've got for you is a show amongst all shows. The stars are the limit, because tonight, Very Dad Ideas turns 40. That's right, over the hill, just in the nick of time. Just in the nick of time. Turning 40, crossing the finish line. Very Dad Ideas is one. And so have you. If you're an Autobot and you have a shoulder-mounted missile launcher aimed at my face.
I'm sorry.
You know, I was blown up there, and then you just let me.
Just let the pieces just go.
You just let the pieces go, man. You don't.
Yeah. I'm not really on it with tonight.
No, you're not.
A little bit off my game.
Not.
Welcome everybody to, or welcome to no one, because no
one.
Yeah, welcome
no one.
Welcome
no
one. Fuck no one.
There's no time to fuck no
it's
one.
Like that,
it's no time.
That's like that. Nobody, the Family Circus cartoon.
Oh my god.
Nobody. Oh man.
I feel like we could almost side rail the whole show just talking about
the Family Circus and Nobody Family Circus. Yeah. Well, tonight, D, my friend, this is episode 40. Can you believe we've done 40?
We've done 40. Things? Yeah, we've done more than 40, but these are 40 that we've...
Like the official 40, right. I mean, we've been doing this... We started doing this in August, at the end of August, I believe. And then September, we kind of fired up on the old computer. And then like October, November, we started doing it on this computer. And then we went officially live in January. So this is our official 40th episode, but we've been doing this way long. We should be much better than we are.
Should be... There's a lot of things I think that if we had a director, they would have notes about.
Notes.
Yeah.
Fuck notes. Anyways, tonight we're going to talk about Blue Waves and Red Undertows.
That's
Dodgers and the rebrand. And so, as always, let's do a little firework action on all
Look at that. There you go. There's your expense right there.
Yeah. Great.
Our my spin cycle's really going.
I mean, how many episodes have we done? Is Tuesday night a laundry night in your house? I feel like we've used your laundry machine.
I have two children, and then there's me, and so like every fucking night is fucking laundry night. There's no.
Yeah. Well.
Ain't no stopping us now.
Well, tonight, before we get into our Dad Vice segment,
do you have something you'd like to say?
I got something
about the
I want to
Dodgers?
say tonight. The Dodgers, the Los Angeles Dodgers, are in the World Series, and this is potentially a point of conflict for many people in my life.
How is that not?
Why feel like I need to get this out. So the Dodgers are in the World Series with the Boston Red Sox.
The Boston Red Sox. Do you have any affiliation with the Boston Red Sox?
I do, because I grew up in Rhode Island, and as a result, myself and everyone I was surrounded with. So the thing you need to know about the Red Sox is it's kind of a state of religion in New England. And people are very, very adamant. It's a big culture. It's all about, like, what are you, retarded, and all that kind of stuff. And so,
so you're wicked retarded.
You're wicked. Yeah, dude, that guy is wicked awesome, et cetera, et cetera. Anyways, the point is that I've been in Los Angeles now going over 10 years. 14.
I was going to say, I thought it was more than 10 years.
Yeah, over 10 years. I've been in California for longer than that. And so I stayed pretty adamantly connected to the Red Sox, even through their win in 2004. But it started to taper off since then because, hey, they won one. It was kind of like the big release. Yep. And then I lived in Echo Park, and the Dodgers slowly. So, Lisa and I would go to the Dodgers together. I would go with friends. I kept up with the Dodgers to be able to have conversations. And what sort of happens?
Well, it's a very affordable ticket.
It's an affordable ticket. It's a great team. It's a fun thing. It's got a culture. It's So I love going to the games. I love actually being a Dodgers fan. As you can see, I've broken in my hat and all that kind of stuff. So there's been a
look like
crossover of my Red Sox sort of going down and my Dodgers going up. But this is brought into stark contrast.
This is going right head to head, man.
Right head to head. And so I've made the official decision that I am now fully a Dodgers fan, and I've let Red Sox Nation go. That does not mean that I don't respect the Red Sox and don't like them for who they are, and they're a great team to watch, and they're a high-scoring, great team. But I think officially I have crossed over into Dodgers-ness. And my brother texted me today and said, "What's this true that you are a Dodgers fan now?" And I said, "Yes, that is true." And his response was, Mo Vaughn has used to be a first baseman for the Red Sox, has rolled over in his grave.
Oh my goodness.
My response to that is that Mo Vaughn should be buried closer than if he's in his grave to Los Angeles.
I get you, and like my brother who's a Cardinals.
But you're not
fan,
a sports fan at all.
I'm not.
Right?
I'm not a sports ball fan.
So you don't really understand why this is as deep.
I know, but the thing is, I do understand it because I know that men. The only time that they'll post
because I know that men
more than like a few paragraphs, it's like something about sports or working out or something like that. Like that's the only thing that gets them, sort of hot. Mm-hmm. So my brother posts this like 8-paragraph thing today about why he's picking the Sox instead of the Dodgers,
right?
Because he's a Cardinals fan. He just goes through this like bullet point list, and then one of his buddies gets back to him, with like a huge giant paragraph about it too, and I'm just like, all right.
On a side note, it's just gotten worse. Facebook has just gotten worse and worse and worse. For me, it's more advertising. It's more garbage. It's really
it is more garbage.
It's just
Facebook really has taken a big dump.
It really has taken a big dump, and I feel like and if they're now pushing hardware that you put into your room, little portals, like, oh great, so now I can watch even more of your dump when I'm like making a salad or something. Anyways,
I can never ever stop looking at your dumb screen.
Never looking. Anyway, okay. So 40th episode tonight.
That's right.
D. Let's go into what we do every time around this time, which is of course our
breakout. Oh, look at that! Look at that sweet Miami Beach. It was probably Long Beach when they were shooting it. Probably.
Yeah. So let's throw up our dad advice. Tonight's dad advice is from yours truly to you, D. The big kid wants a little kid out of his stuff. So a little bit of context on that. I got a 3-year-old and I have just over a 1-year-old. The 3-year-old is building his Lego castles, his various things, or he's just going about his business. And of course, the 1-year-old is just crawling after him and knocking things left and right.
Wrecking his shit. Yeah.
So it's a constant battle that's going on. And so the 3-year-old is always, can you pick him up? Can you take him over there? And it is always tears and screaming and whatnot. So as somebody who has an older child, but also you've got,
he turned 16 months yesterday.
16 months. Okay. So you're a little further down the path in a couple of ways. What would you say my approach should be here for the big kid when the big kid wants a little kid out of his stuff?
Well, I mean, it's a lot of that same. The years are short, but the days are long. Kind of advice. But I think with something like this, what you got to realize is that the kid, the 3-year-old, like this is like another mode of control, right? Like they just want you to do what they want you to do, and this other kid, the younger kid's not doing what they want to have happen.
Yeah.
So they'll look for anybody to do whatever it is that they want to do.
Yeah.
So like that's one thing, and then the other thing is that I always push the big boy button. Just be like, you're a big boy. Like this is a big kid helps the little kids, and
right.
You get a couple of minutes out of it.
You appeal to his desire.
To appeal.
Yeah.
And it's like almost in a way, it's like you're building that.
Do you go the other way? I mean, I often say, but he's just a baby. He doesn't understand, and he wants to play with you. I feel like that doesn't really get a lot of traction.
I was
You
gonna
know,
say, what do you think that gets from a 3-year-old? What do you think when you say
no,
that to him?
no,
Do you
probably
always
not.
is it like a knee jerk from you to him? Does he look at you and be like, okay, yeah, I got this?
No, I don't think it's ever happened. It's
Yeah.
always been
Well,
like, I don't get it. He's in my crap because it's all
right.
about the
And
3-year-old,
right.
right? The 3-year-old
Right.
is just doing this, right? So
Yeah. All of their things, like every time the 3-year-old picks something up, that activates toy mode for whatever toy it is, and all
right,
children around him see
right,
that as a toy finally. Because if it was on the ground and nobody was touching it,
right.
no problem. Yeah, I think what you've got there is, again, years are short, days are long. It's like
Yeah,
those 30 minutes where you're sitting there and you're just playing like the shitty referee.
yeah,
As we all know, this time is going to pass. It's going to go away. Eventually, those two kids are going to be off doing your drugs,
yeah,
somewhere else in the house and hoping you don't find them. And they're
yeah,
going to have like a secret pact that's stronger than any bond. And it's mostly built on like them knowing that their parents are crazy. You and Lisa are crazy. Me
or
and Allie are crazy.
or
Like
lame,
yeah.
right? Yeah,
Or lame or whatever it is. But for right now, like one of them is an interloper and the other one is like the established dude of the house,
yeah, yeah,
And it's a fresh wound. The Griff has been around for 3 years. That's like forever. And Toby's only been around for like
for a year.
a
Yeah,
year.
yeah.
I know.
So your sum up is to let's tell the older kid, hey, you're a big kid now. It's time for you
Find a
to
way
be,
to yeah.
good.
Well,
Good.
and it's not like that. You can't just that you can't just walk out and be like, it's time for you to grow up, kid. The kid's gonna get in your stuff. But set a time limit. Be like, I want you. Can you try to play with Toby for, I know like saying 5 minutes doesn't mean anything to a kid, but if you can find an increment of time or show him a countdown or something,
try to include him in this little bit, right? Yeah.
and then you give him all the praise that they love with Big Boy, and you're so good.
Yeah.
And then try to switch it up on him. But I mean, I think the thing is, it's like feeling in a way, it's like sleep training.
Yeah.
You don't just shut the door and let your kid scream for 30 minutes. You kind of come in, try to reset them and get the fuck out of there.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know.
It's good. That's good. That's good. I think that's probably the best we're going to do at this particular point. So that is tonight's Dad Vice. Tell the kid that he's a big boy, and
Tell the kid that he's a big boy.
Take the kids that he's a big boy. So
have you noticed that employers do that to you?
Oh yeah.
It's like that. They just
sure.
Instead of paying you more, giving you a raise, they're like, you're really good at this, and these people are really
yeah.
They're better for having you here.
Right. So, Dee, for our next segment, I wanted to kick off that I wanted to show the routes from Mexico up into the United States.
Now, is the pink line just rapists? Was that?
Yeah, I think the pink line is rapists, and the bank robbers, and then the green line are those who are going to steal our jobs.
Yes, the green line are they're making a beeline for our gerbs.
Right.
Yeah.
So I saw this article that cracked me up. It was that this caravan would take 2.5 months to get here, at the rate that they're going. I mean,
because they're walking.
It's entirely scare tactics. It's just something to.
Oh, but wait a minute, Nye. I mean, sure, it's going to take 2.5 months if they don't find any cars to steal. Right?
Oh, that's true. That's right. You're talking about rapists here. So
yeah, they're going to rape a couple of cars into submission and rape those cars all the way across the border, man. You're just not thinking with your right brain, with the good one. I mean, they're going to come over here. They're going to take your job to cleaning a toilet that you wanted and that you trained for your whole life.
So Dee, I mean, this brings up our topic for tonight, which is our blue waves and red waves, and all that sort of stuff. I have actually got my ballot over there. I got my early ballot ready, and
I have mine right over there too.
And so the things I've been seeing online are and if anybody's out there, I don't see anybody's out there.
No one's out there, right?
I don't know. Let me check on our Facebook feed. It looks like
anybody out there.
Is anyone on Facebook?
Is there anybody? Allison, of course, right? I know that lady. She
of course will always like it, but she doesn't stick around.
No, she doesn't stick around. She's
so I see all these articles that say, like, oh, voter turnout is the best since 1968 and all the
Yeah.
preload, but it
Yeah.
could mean the
It could
Republican.
mean.
It could mean whatever. It's just
I know the 24-hour news cycle, man. I mean, they've gotten so used to like having Trump as sort of like the biggest like fire, like the biggest Hadoken,
Right.
that they can to get people clicking on their stuff.
yeah,
And it's like, it's like anything else. Like once they're like used to like this many hits, they don't ever want to go lower. So they just have to like
they have to
keep
keep
that
piling
level
it on. Right.
And so it's all the time. And I don't know. I read this too. They were just like,
Did you see the New York
the
Times
whole-
article? What early voting means, or does it? Right? It's
I
just like-
know.
it's
And it's like, my God, you guys. Like, I know that. I mean, eventually, by hook or by crook, this shit will stop. Like there won't be this sensational person in the White House anymore. However that happens, and it will be some different level of something.
Did you
What will
watch?
they be able to do after this?
Yeah, this is the article that cracked me up. Millions have voted early in midterms. Here's what that
Here's
means.
what that means.
And
what it doesn't.
doesn't.
Right. This is a worthless article. I mean, the New York Times is
I know.
jumping in on it as well. So the other question, did you see the Steve Bannon interview on the Bill Maher?
You were telling me on the Bill Maher thing. I haven't watched
You
it
haven't
yet.
watched
but
it yet?
No.
I mean, even Steve Bannon admits that that if the turnout for the Democrat voting is that big that and they get the House, Trump might be locked, but he's pretty much going to have his hands tied, and he potentially could. I mean, there seems to be an awful lot of house of cards falling. So he might just be the guy who's sort of sitting eating his cheeseburgers in the corner, afraid of germs. Obviously, Melania is not going to be comforting him. He just seems like he's lost
No.
everything. So
yeah.
I feel like
I
it's,
don't.
I mean, it's
Go
really.
ahead.
I wish this all. I have no idea what this means. I guess the sum up is the only thing we can all do is just get out there and vote. Right.
I think that is the sort of the takeaway. And if anybody like, if everybody says, and if everyone does what they all say they're going to do, and everyone is saying right now that they're going to go vote, and I've even heard a couple of millennials say they're going to go vote,
Yeah.
which is probably. I mean, I remember when I was of millennial age, right, in like
Right.
the teens and the 20s and sort of maybe the early 30, I guess. Like you just say whatever it is to older people, and it doesn't really, you're just say it. It doesn't really
Yeah.
matter. Like,
Right.
so I'm not going to worry or count on them. I'm just saying, like anybody, who, the Democrats didn't show up to the 2016 election.
Yeah.
Because of that, like for 2 years now, everyone's been talking about this fucking election. So here it's
Yeah.
coming.
Here it's coming.
And so, and if we don't all go and vote, like we will deserve whatever comes after that.
It's
I
interesting.
think that's the only fear you need to pay attention.
Is that the Orange County, which is just like literally, I feel
Red,
like
red.
Yeah, it's all red. It's interesting because Long Beach is kind of right between Los Angeles above it and Orange County below it. So you have
A little bit of purple.
like it's kind of a little bit of purple, right? You get like if you've ever been to Long Beach, you'll see that there's like tattoos and truckers and that kind of thing, but it's also like very gay and trans and like all kinds of stuff as well, and artist community. So you've got this really interesting blend of ideas, but Orange County surprisingly is up for contention right now because
That is exciting.
it is pretty exciting because all of these, they're basically classical Republicans. They are Reaganites who I think are disenchanted with the Trump. And so you also have a bunch of assholes running for offices and these really interesting kind of renegade Democratic characters contending it. So it's going to upset Orange County in some way. I think that there's shockwaves. So if there's any silver lining on the whole Trumpkin thing, it's that people are being more engaged and questioning their political alliances, which I think is always good for anyone to do.
I think that's great to shake things up because ultimately we all sit around and there's been sort of like this establishment versus that establishment.
Yeah,
And I think
partisan.
People have been able to check out of it and like go about their lives and pay their taxes and stuff like that. Well, for the last 2 years, no one has felt that way.
No one at all.
And I think what people really want to feel like is they want to feel like the people in charge aren't doing this as a way of like having someone pat them on the back and give them an attaboy.
Yeah.
I don't understand why Donald Trump even wants to like have this gig. I also don't understand why anyone would want this gig, but I understand least why a guy like Donald Trump, who, you know, just is sort of a guy who's, you know, if you again read another New York Times article,
building his brand. I mean,
he's just building a brand. He never made a dime of his own money. It's just
that's
like
a conversation for another day. So,
that's all. Yeah, that's an extra thing. But yeah, I don't understand. Like, so now that we have this guy, like, if this isn't what gets you involved and gets you engaged, well, then we deserve this guy, and we deserve all of the afterbirths that he fires out of his ass after this. All the people who are going to emulate him. Yeah. If we don't send a clear message that this is fucked and we don't want this, then we're also saying that we do want this. So, you know, let's all be clear in a couple of days when we all go out and vote.
Yeah. So the takeaway is let's get out there and vote. As we get closer and closer, I think actually we should do an episode as we're right up on voting on the propositions. We should talk through propositions on the show. That way, people have at least something to reference. At least I want to talk through them. You know,
I think that's a great idea. Yeah, because I mean, me and Allie are going to vote tomorrow, and we're sitting around with all of our like cheat cards and shit like that.
Right, trying to figure out what the fuck to do. Right. So
just like anybody who's like trying to do this, and that's okay. It's okay to like be sitting there and like cramming for. Well, this is how you're going to vote.
This has been a long first segment, so we're gonna talk about our potential rebrand. We're thinking about rebranding, but until that point, D, let's call your friend up, of course. That he comes up at every
the same fear.
So we're gonna come back. We'll throw up Photoshop and we'll do some messing around, and maybe we'll call up a friend or two. But we're gonna come back. We're gonna talk about a potential rebrand. This is something that we've been thinking that. D and I feel that we are just more than dads. We are not just.
We're dads. More than dads. Goddammit.
We are artists. So maybe it's very artist ideas.
Yeah. Very artistic ideas.
No, we'll find better things.
I feel like we'll get negative viewers if we.
Oh yeah, it'll just. The people we'll have to start watching other people's content if we do that. Yeah, but let's
have to start sending people money.
Let's listen to some Jen and find her at HEYD.
Get Tubby Vader out of my space. Look at him.
We'll be right back in a couple minutes.
Blending into the background like a fat bastard.
Oh yeah, welcome back.
Welcome back.
Isn't it the Assassin's Creed? It's like the origin of Assassin's Creed. It's like the everything of Assassin's Creed, right?
Is it? Oh, that's cool.
I thought it was. I haven't picked it up. Also, Red Dead Redemption 2 is coming out. Like,
that's right, man. I have no
time. I have no time. I can't do it. I cannot do it. So, we're gonna go to our Photoshop here.
I'm sort of set for the one I'm waiting for is Fallout 76.
Oh man!
We have a couple of buddies who I think are gonna give that a go, and being multiplayer, the whole idea of building a base and post-apocalyptic would be too much to pass up.
Yeah.
Even though when you really think about it, like the only reason it's probably going to get done is because a couple of my friends don't have kids yet, so I think they can actually do the sort of work of the game.
Yeah.
All right, so we got Photoshop up.
So this is Photoshop up. I'm gonna start drawing just whatever I feel like drawing.
Can you draw like a birthday cake for Very Dad Ideas? So we put 40 on it or something.
40, sure. So D, I called you today to bring this up.
Yeah.
So here's
Yeah, yeah.
here's the thing. I was thinking that, seeing as no one is watching us anyways,
Right.
I was thinking maybe we should try a rebrand. Um, and th- it's not that,
Rebrand how? Are you saying that we just get two new guys and we
yeah,
give them our
two
cameras and our
completely new,
computers?
two completely
We
new
get
guys.
get like a Cody in advance for this Dukes of Hazard show that we've got and sort of take a couple of seasons off. Is that what you mean?
Yeah, exactly. I think what I'm kind of getting at is that
Dude, that was a really sweet Dukes of Hazard reference there. I don't think
it wasn't.
anybody.
Well, I don't think I didn't get it, and since there's no one watching
Cody
us,
and Vance like showed up in like the third season and took over when Bo and Luke Duke wanted too much money.
really? Oh,
Yeah.
I didn't know. I didn't know they swapped them out.
Yeah.
Wasn't Bo and Luke like? Doesn't he Superman's dad in the
Yeah,
series?
yeah. In the EWB.
Right.
That was
That saved me. So yeah. So let's in this idea that I have. I thought maybe like if we just say that we're Darren and Nye.
Yeah.
Then it doesn't get so obscure of what we're doing. I think
Right,
we're
and it's not you're not like clicking straight off of it once we stop talking about dad stuff because I know that's why people aren't engaging. They think hey, stop talking about dad stuff. I'm out of here, man.
yeah. I think it's just like at this point
We're too good looking. We're too good
We're
looking.
too good looking for sure. But at
Yeah.
this point, like if we have at most maybe 35 to 50 people who are aware of us. I don't feel like that is at this point it's nothing that is critical. I mean, also anybody who I know who have gotten an email who have watched us or whatever for a small period of time will not be insulted that we do it. And I think it's better that just like think if you're our friends, regardless, our friends aren't going to watch a live streaming show. But if we're
No.
saying we're just Darren and Nye. I think it's a little bit. I don't know. For me, I think it's worth our time because it brands us as us, not as an entity.
Not as
but
professional dads.
But I could be wrong. I mean, do you
Because
have
we're
thoughts
not.
on
We
that?
are. We are pro. Well, it turns out I found out in the early hours of Tuesday morning that apparently Very Dead Ideas sent out a tweet.
Did it? Okay.
Yeah, it did. It was I guess at like 3:30 in the morning, and it tweeted, "Fuck all y'all bitches. I'm gonna do me." And I think
Interesting.
I think I think the
tweeted
thing
that?
is yeah, and then like a few hours later, it said that it was like just soaking in sort of like an Ambien bathtub. And the candles were real low, and it just sort of had gotten a little bit ahead of itself.
I see.
And it was sort of like, oh, I don't want to be canceled, but I mean, I don't know what we can put up with.
Yeah. So
We
it's
might just have to let VDI go and
cancel
you know.
ourselves.
cancel ourselves.
Right.
I think we're gonna have to leave it up to the sponsors. Definitely we're gonna have to let NBC and Fox and all their affiliates have their say. But yeah, I mean, it does not look good for Very Dead Ideas. I can tell you that.
It's not that I don't. We've learned a lot in doing this. So I mean, here
For sure.
Here's what I think might be a good approach for us to do, is to come up with a new name, and
Yeah.
then just migrate everything over. So we have it all kind of like just the same except with a new name, and then begin to swap out things. I think that there's things that we can't get rid of that we like a lot, like
No,
Dad
I think
Vice.
we should keep Dad Vice.
Dad
Yeah.
Vice for sure, and then try to work more of the characters in. Maybe try to bring up some new ones. But I don't know. I think that was just something that I've been playing with, this idea, and I thought that it doesn't hurt. There's a couple of aside from the work to the rebrand, but there's been a couple of instances that I have thought of. It's tough for me to think and draw at the same time, but like
You're doing such a lovely job.
but Steve Martin, rebranded himself. That was one of the examples that I brought up to you, where he
that's true.
Changed his comedy a little
Yeah, he
bit.
was doing a hippie thing for a couple of years, and then he came back and he sort of got the haircut and put on the white suit.
Yep, put on the white suit and then sort of did the comedy thing. So the idea that I want to throw at you is just D and Nye go live. I mean, what do you think of that?
I think it's fine. And honestly, I want to like open this up to the
Whoever's
number of people who are watching us constantly. If you guys have any ideas, or if you think it's a good idea or a bad idea, let us know something. I think it's like we'll like hear whatever you say and like we'll think about it. But yeah, I think we should spend a little bit of time, see if we can come up with a name that we like better.
Right.
And if we can do that, then I don't care. Like the Very Dead Ideas was sort of how we started this, because we thought, this is the biggest new thing of our lives, and it's like sort of like the
well, it was also like we were both dads, and this came out of the conversations of us being like, well, fuck, I got no time to do anything with my life. But and I was listening to these podcasts where I was thinking, oh well, these guys go about their lives, but they make just enough time to get together on a weekly basis to scratch one of these things out. And it's a way for us, because you and I both did improv comedy, right? But like there's no way that I'm going to be able to get out of the house, drive to some place, meet in some shitty local theater for the random chance that there's some funny people that I want to work with, right? So I feel like this kind of solves a lot of the problem, which is, okay, well, let me call up a buddy who I know is a improv comedian, and like, let's try to do something that's just on the fly. And but I think the dad aspect of it is what we really globbed onto. And I think that the new show is not going to change. I just think that, having the dad has constrained us in a little bit of a way. So this is our...
No, I totally have... I agree with that, just because it's just... I think that's the thing, is that when you see it, you see Very Dead Ideas. And so maybe the name of the thing doesn't sort of line up with what we've done over these 40 shows. We've done lots of different kinds of shows.
Yeah, I mean, the Spider-Man episode, so I'm saving this out, and I'm going to put this onto our Instagram. So you can follow us at our Instagram. This is the cake for our 40th episode. And great. So we're going to talk a little bit about a rebrand. I think maybe we need to do a new logo or whatever. But Dee, why don't we say next week we're going to come back with the name that we're going to call ourselves. I think we'll chat a couple of times. We'll figure out what it is. But I think it should just be really simple. I think it should just be like Darren and I. On the internets or something, or like something cute like that. But I think we should just use our names, so when we say, hey, here's a live streaming show, people know, like, because whenever I describe it to people, I'm always like, oh, what are you doing? I'm like, oh, I'm doing a live streaming show with my buddy, and we're dads, and we're blah blah blah. But I feel like we just start.
We called it Internet Time with D and Nye.
Internet Time with D and Nye.
Internet Time.
I like it.
Fresh internet.
Well, let's mull it around, and if anybody listens or watches this show and they want to leave a comment or write us or whatever, please do.
Or tell us about our hair looks great. I mean, you could do that.
Yeah.
You could just give us a compliment.
Salty speckles, right?
Oh my god, dude. Yeah, I went and got a haircut this weekend, and when the hairdresser just talks about chopping out all the gray and like sort of drops more than 3 subtle hints about how I need to dye my
hair for men or whatever.
Oh man,
just
that's a bummer.
I was watching a Sesame Street episode, and I saw Bob, and Bob is obviously like completely gray, but he's just like bottling it. And I was just like, oh man, like just Bob.
Yeah, because Bob
so
in the 70s.
Yeah, it was 70s. I mean, I don't know. Anyways, so let's. I gotta grab some more water. Let's take a quick break. We're gonna come back. We're gonna do some business, and we'll do some recommendations, and then we'll see where we're at. So let's throw to some Jen. And
I'm gonna pour a little bit out on the ground for Mr. Hooper. Now that we're talking about Sesame Street.
Yeah, Mr. Hooper. Well, you're all about the 80s references.
Dude, I still right here. I remember that episode where they talked about his death.
Oh yeah. All right, we'll be right back.
All right. Pump up the volume, pump up the
volume, pump up the volume. Dance, dance. Dun, 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 dun. All right, welcome back. This is our final bit. Before we get too much into it, D, let's do our meta show tonight.
Oh yeah. Give us the goods. How do we do this?
Yeah, Very Dead Ideas is still at this point. You can follow us at Very Dead Ideas or verydeadideas.com. The guy over there is Derek Jennings. My name is Nye Warburton. And music is done by the lovely Jen Remington at heydog.com.
Jennifer Kess Remington.
All of our archive is at Very Dead Ideas at YouTube and in Buzzsprout, or soon to be some other name. We don't know what that is. We go live every week, Tuesday night at 9:30 on Facebook Live, YouTube, Periscope, Twitter, and also Twitch. And the show is made from a variety of Adobe products using OBS Studio. We hit the networks using Restream.io. We do Voice Meter Banana, and Discord is how Darren and I chat. And at this point of the show is where we usually like to go into our recommendations. So, Dee, do you have anything tonight, or do you want me to kick us off first?
Why don't you go ahead first?
Okay. So, my recommendation for tonight actually is based on trying to make the planet a little bit better. I don't know if you've been looking at what's out there, but there's been these articles that have been on Facebook about plastic. Have you seen this?
Oh, yeah.
Your poop is probably full of plastic. This is in Wired. And there is, it's basically now how plastic has reached a unbelievably crazy level. And
yeah, it's in the bellies of every little fish.
Like yeah, I mean, it's just there's plastic in your poop and blah blah blah. So the question is, how do you use less of these bottled? And so in our household, we have decided that we are going to try to stop using these plastic things for any water. And so my recommendation is basically from what my wife has done is she's gotten everybody these hydro flasks. You know these hydro flasks?
Yeah.
And so we have a complete supply of these things. And so now I am just filling up my water and starting my sticker collection, starting with Smog City here.
Right on.
And we are now.
I have a 6-year-old. I have a lot of stickers I can bring to.
Yeah. So this is my wife's influence on all of us. But these hydro flasks are great, and
I like
them around. And so the idea is, instead of going out and getting a bottle of water, just kind of get in the mindset of carrying a metal flask around to hydrate yourself. It just takes away the inclination to even go into 7-Eleven and buy one in the first place. Because I think that is really part of the biggest problem is that we're just throwing plastic bottles everywhere. I mean, throwing lots of plastic things. But one small focused thing you can do is to try to use less plastic by taking water
by
bottles.
Not buying plastic bottles of
by
things
not buying
and carrying.
Yeah.
You know, me and Allie, we've been carrying our stuff around in what are those plastic flasks are, the BPA, whatever that you buy at REI. But I mean, if it is really just about plastic, I guess we got to do one more thing and then buy.
Yeah, I mean,
metal.
You buy a metal thing and then you make it yours and you make it part of your life, and it slips in your bag and all this sort of stuff, and it doesn't leak or what. So highly recommended as a alternative, but I think just in general it should be your mindset to not be taking bottled water, little plastic bottled water. So that is my recommendation this week. Dee, do you got anything that you would like to share with us?
I was talking with you about it earlier, but I'm getting tense thinking about Fallout 76. It's coming out in a couple of weeks.
Okay.
And I think what my recommendation is to watch as the beta, which is starting right now because it's Xbox One exclusive, that they start the beta now. But as they roll out more and more people into the beta, just watch these guys, because this is their big step away from Steam and from any of the other big publishers. This is off of their they're publishing this, so that this will be interesting.
Yeah, but it says it's on PS4, right?
Yeah, but it's all off of Bethesda's website for the computer. I don't know how that's
Oh,
working.
I mean, they're selling
PS4.
copies directly, right?
Yeah,
As opposed to,
yeah.
oh, that's interesting.
Which means they're going to be in charge of doing all their
Yeah, well, I
rollout.
mean,
So
their mobile game gave them the capital to be able to do shit tons of stuff. I mean, Bethesda's also, what else do they do? Skyrim, right? They do.
yeah.
I mean,
Yeah, and I think that if they can do this one right, I think they're probably just going to become their own little mini publishing site, and they're
I mean,
roll out
that's
the
well,
rest of their
that's
games
kind of
that
what
way.
Valve's. Are they going to set up some sort of system to download things with, or I mean, do we know anything about Bethesda?
Yeah, well, I have.
Whoa,
What happened?
Darren,
Yo,
lost ya.
yeah,
You
man.
there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Yeah. Did Bethesda? Do you think they're going to have their own?
Well, they've got their own dumbass like launcher. It's like
Oh, they do.
Yeah, yeah. That's the only way you can buy the game unless you buy it. I think buy it through Best Buy maybe.
So they have their own Steam, essentially.
They have their own Steam. Yeah, there you go. You just pulled it up.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Well, that's cool. I mean, God, it looks great. What a great studio. What a great game. What a great.
I think
Title.
it's ballsy. I mean, I think
Well, they
as
must
much
have
as
just
I love
money
Steam, I think
falling out of the sky, dude.
as much as I love Steam, as much as I love what they've done for like making games like ultra cheap, I know that this can't be good for, big companies, and so like for them to do it this way is probably makes the most sense.
But I mean, if they strike out with their own titles, then they can start aggregating their own things.
Mhm.
Their own indie. Go out and find other titles and publish them and produce them.
Exactly. Yeah, they could compete.
Right. Well, I mean, this is how you build a studio or build a channel. Yeah. Wow. I mean, these guys are definitely top of the. I have no time for video games right now. I don't know how you.
No,
you
I
do
don't.
it,
I don't.
but-
I don't either. I'm just sort of like looking down the barrel. Bought the game, wishing that I can make it happen. I know that that's probably not going to be the case.
Right. Right. Well, it looks awesome. Definitely something to keep our eyes out for. So, D, when we come back next week, we will have a new name potentially.
Well, what I think we should do. I talked with this about Douglas.
Well, you're
And
cutting.
we should have maybe a farewell episode for 41, and then 42, we should sort of end Very Dad Ideas and announce the name of it. So I think we should have 2 more shows.
Yeah.
Before we and then on The Secret of Life as 42, as it is in Douglas Adams' book.
Oh, that's great. That's right. You did pitch that to me, right? So we'll do 2 more dads.
Yeah.
And then, but I think, but yeah, let's think about it this week, and let's come in next week, and then maybe even next week can be about the transition, or and then we'll do our finale. Our finale episode with all kinds of fanfare and fireworks.
Oh my God! And all of the people
all
who made
of
this possible.
the 000
Except Jen Cass Remington. That woman has made it happen every single episode.
Yeah.
Fantastic music.
Yeah.
And if you wanted to, you could go over to heydog.com and check her out.
Hey, check her out. She's always been
Yeah.
great. But we will bring Jen with us wherever.
Oh yeah, no,
we're
Jen doesn't get to go away after this.
I mean,
Jen,
I think it's just basically same show, maybe some tweaks, and then also I'm going to see if I can try to bring something to the table in terms of how to integrate the Godot engine. I've been spending a lot of time with the Godot engine, which is the engine I recommended before. It's really an excellent, nifty open source system. So there might be some cool things that we can do with the show next time. But this is all for next week. So come back, same time, same channel, and we will see you then. So thanks very much for joining us. We'll see you then.
See you guys.